we're back on the American Dream Business Roundtable with JL Abbott and Greg Noe, and we need to talk about what is a good business plan. So let's start with you, Joe, and then I know that you're going to say exactly what you want to say, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so go for it, Joe.
Well, you need to have the name of the business, the name of the owner, the structure of the business, you know, whether it's a proprietorship, whether it's a LLC, whether it's an S corporation. I mean, those have to be defined, you know, right up front. From there, I would usually write a short summary, 6 sentences max, what the business intends to be and what it does, or what it's going to do. From there, I would move into, eventually I would get to the competitors, know thy competitor. I spend a lot of time on the competitive piece in a business plan. If you know everything looks okay and you know, you kind of go ahead and you read their financials at the end and that kind of looks okay, then you go to the marketing section and they don't know anything about their competitor, you know, that's worrisome to me. I want to find out all of their competitors in the United States. I want to know how big the market is. I want to know what % of market share each competitor has. And then I want to know whose market share they plan to take.
Right.
And that's all got to fit together with the business plan, or in my mind, it's not a well thought out, well written plan. You certainly need to have financials involved. I provide a couple different sets of financials. I provide the break-even financials, which you know most banks are going to go to right away. I will have an area where I break out all the costs of the business. If it's, let's say it's a bakery and it's going to make different things, I will break out everything it takes to make a cake and how much it costs.
Right.
And then I'll figure out what the cost of the cake is to actually make with employee costs, because we'll have discovered the employee costs before, all the way down to the cost of the cake, and then how much margin they want to make, add that to it, and then look at the competitive analysis that we've just started, right, and see if their cake's way too expensive or it's way too cheap. If it's way too cheap, that's good, because we can always increase our price, right?
That's true.
But if we're way too expensive and we've spelled out everything that we need to make that cake, you can't take an ingredient out. So it's not a well thought out plan.
Right.
And you're absolutely right. The pro formas go a long way to, they're the numbers part of the business plan. They're the facts. So even though they're looking into the future, they're guesses, but and they're very difficult to come up with. And I'll give you an example of pro formas gone wrong.
Okay, let's talk about that. That's important.
Where in this case, it was a student who had put down their accounting costs in all years to be $200. And I asked the student, how'd you come up with $200? Well, because that's the cost of QuickBooks. It's like, so you're planning on doing everything yourself? How much background do you have in tax planning and all that?
Right.
None. And so you have decided that you're the best person to do your taxes, apparently, because you've only allocated $200 for all of the accounting costs.
Or they don't even have QuickBooks, right?
Oh,
There's a lot of those. There's a lot of shoebox businesses that I come across.
But the shoebox, some of the shoebox ones that started in their garage a few years ago, right?
Yeah, and they're making money.
They're making money.
But they can't tell you how much they're making.
That's scary.
Right.
Right.
But they're making money.
They're making money.
The other, well, along with legal expenses and how much money is going to be outsourced to the professionals that they need to hire to help them. The other kind of an issue that I'm sure Joe sees this from time to time, the sacrifice that the entrepreneur wants to make, and in their business plan, they'll create these pro formas without any salary, without any money going to themselves.
You got to pay yourself.
Well, and nobody in their right mind would want to lend money to this.
To somebody that's not going to take a salary.
So, 3 months into this deal, you're going to have to start worrying about how you're going to pay your bills, and you're not going to be focused on this project, on this business.
Right.
And so it's not going to work. But you understand where their heart's at. They're willing to accept the sacrifice. But no, you have to put something in that business plan for yourself. Otherwise, nobody is going to get involved in this thing.
Do you know what I just want to jump in here, and usually when talking to different people that I work with, and I say, don't quit your real job until you can afford to at least live for 2 years without that job.
Well, and that's the other thing I've seen from time to time, where someone, in this case, it was a wine business, whether they wanted you to make your own wine. Well, that's going to be in the evening and the weekends. And so a couple, they were going to start this business. Well, you have to quit your jobs. It's like, well, no, time out. Who's giving you that advice? You need to keep your jobs so that you can have the income to pay these.
Yeah, it was kind of like where I was going to go. Sometimes they don't have enough sacrifice, right?
Really?
And that couple is an example that they don't want to work all day and then work at night for people to make their wine and then have to work on the weekend and then go back to their job.
Right.
Sacrifice isn't there.
Right.
Well, and there's a little adage that some of us have taken a liking to. What is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is a person who works 80 hours a week, gets paid for 20 to avoid a 40-hour-a-week job.
Okay.
Well, we can't, you are going to work probably 80 hours a week. When you start, more when you start your business. And about the only thing that Joe and I can really help with is to keep you from getting paid for 20.
Right.
Keep your pay up there so
Right.
that you don't create this vacuum for yourself.
And one of the guys that I work with right now is got a product. It's a mustard. And he is so passionate. And he didn't quit his job. He was very smart about it.
That's good.
And it was a family recipe, right?
Yeah.
And now they're in Jungle Gyms.
Okay,
and
good.
then I'm bringing him to another thing. But I found him a manufacturer that's
Okay.
going to actually produce the mustard so that they don't have to do it the way they're doing it right now.
Yeah.
And that's the other important thing.
Sure it is. Know how to scale right.
Right.
If you don't plan to scale, you won't.
Right. We've got a client who has a product that could go nationally, and I think it'll do very well. But right now, he's manufacturing the product in his basement. And he wants to carry on conversations with the likes of Kroger's and Walmart and Walgreens and these national retailers. And it's like, no, not yet. We have to find somebody that can manufacture this product and scale it up because the worst thing you can do is go and pitch one of these outfits and have them say, oh yeah, I'll take 100,000 units.
Right.
The guy can only produce 10,000 in a week.
Right. I'm working with a similar client, retail product, and I think it could go national. I think it's a very good product. But he's not willing to spend the money for the prototypes. And we've found a retail outlet for him to test it in.
Right.
That will take 300 units, and it's going to cost him $1,000.
Right.
And
And
that's
on
all.
that, and
Yeah,
on that
he wants to
note,
spend
we
the money.
need to take a short break, fellas. That's all right. Okay. Give your website out again, Joe.
JL Abbott, ABBOTT.net.
And Greg?
Probizservices.com, PROBIZ services.com.
And don't forget to go to KathrynRaaker.com, and very soon we'll have our own little website for American Dream Business
Yes.
Roundtable. And we'll be right back after these messages.